Ever since we started MotoDeal just about 2 years ago, a lot of people have been asking me, which is better, the Ducati Multistrada or the BMW GS? Well, today we are going to try and figure out what it's like. We're going to figure out what it's like to own both bikes and talk about the pros and cons about owning what many people consider to be the end game bike, which is the BMW GS, against the more fun bike, the Ducati Multistrada V4. Anyway, this is going to be an episode of Beyond the Ride with a very special guest, the owner of that BMW GS, Miss Katrice Kierrulf. What's up?
Hi, Jinno.
Are you ready?
I am so ready for this
another
episode of
Adventures?
Guys, that's just my intro, yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, Kat, before we get to the bikes, let's talk about you. You've been riding for quite some time. And I noticed also in your videos and just in your posts and just the way you talk, you and your dad have a very special relationship.
Yes.
He got you into riding.
Yes, he was the one who actually influenced me to riding because since I was a child, I was already exposed to motorcycles. Like, I would be his pillion, his back ride.
At what age?
At what age? At around mga 8, I guess.
Wow.
I'm not sure. And he would bring me to school riding a Harley.
Nice, nice.
So I got exposed to motorcycles at a very young age. And then I just got curious. So yun, I had training first.
Yeah.
And I had training also from Coach Sam Tamayo, like dirt training. And then after that, I had training with my dad because I was always his shadow.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been to a lot of places na rin with my bike and with my dad.
Yeah, and you guys did Ironman together with Himalayan first, diba?
No, it was actually the BMW GS 650.
Okay, sorry, the 650.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was my second bike.
So you were together in your first Ironman with the GS.
The 650.
The 650. And then you did another Ironman recently, the recent one.
Last March.
Yeah, medyo malas yun.
Nag-breakdown yung 1250 ko. Oh my God. Sa T-Plex pa lang nasiraan kagad,
so,
imagine.
As in, paalis pa lang?
Yes. So we just decided to call like a rescue and then nag-backride na lang ako sa dad ko. So like it's a different content naman.
Yeah, but it's nice that he's super supportive of you riding your own big bikes in an event like the Ironman. Medyo not everybody is brave enough to do the Ironman.
Yeah, pero there were a lot of lady riders
Yeah.
who joined na rin last March.
Yeah.
So it was quite a challenge.
And recently, earlier this year, you did the Motorrad, the BMW Motorrad in Europe.
Yes, with my dad and his friends.
Yeah.
It was really memorable for me because it was my first time to ride out of the Philippines. Like usually we would go to like different provinces, but experiencing that is truly one for the books.
Yeah.
Like I would ask my dad, because before my dad did that already, like a couple of times with his friends. So it was really a perfect father and daughter bonding for us.
And speaking of which, your dad is here right now with us.
Yeah.
In a classic GS.
Yes.
Which is actually pretty cool, no? All right, so Kat, the BMW Motorrad, the Motorrad days in Europe, where did you guys go and what was that experience like for you?
Well, the highlight was the Stelvio Pass in Italy. It was like the famous Bitukang Manok in Quezon, but 10 times more. So it was full of hairpins. It was like full of blind spots. So it was kind of tricky, but it was really, the view was very fantastic.
Yeah.
It was one of the highlights because mostly talaga, it was like open roads lang, highways lang. So it was memorable. I do it again with my dad, like with a different tour guide, Mark, with Mark Sung.
And you were on the GS, which GS were you on?
The 750,
The 750,
only.
yeah.
It was a different experience also. Like I found the bike top heavy compared to the 1250.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, because this one, the engine's below. It's below, so it's low center of gravity.
Yes. Yeah. So it was a different experience naman.
That was a couple of months before the World Ducati Week.
Yeah, I saw your photos. I was so jealous nga. You had a selfie with Dominica.
Yeah, she asked me for a selfie.
Wow,
But that was fun also, because like but you're riding around Ducatis in the same hills where Ducati tests their bikes. Super galing talaga. And then I'll give you an idea of how impressed I was with the World Ducati Week. It was so good, I ended up buying the MTS when I got
my
home.
gosh, so budol talaga
Super
yun.
budol!
How you used the V4
Super
that
budol.
time?
No, I didn't even use the Multistrada. I used the Multistrada Pikes Peak of Totti Alberto in Misano area. And then I was so impressed with the whole Ducati lifestyle that I ended up buying the Multistrada when I got home. Yan ang super budol talaga.
Super budol.
Like, super. It made me believe it because you go to I was in the museum, I was in
The Ducati Museum.
factory. It's like I really sat through everything.
Oh.
So I learned about it a little bit more, so much that I ended up buying the Multistrada. Grabe. I think that was their plan the whole time, to be honest with you. It's like, let's bring Jinno there.
Naging convert ka na, nag-convert ka na to Ducati.
Nag-convert ako to
So
be.
that's your first Ducati ever?
It's my first Ducati ever.
Oh, wow. You're loving it naman.
I do. I absolutely love it. It's for me. It's one of the. Even before I bought it, I tested out actually, we have a video on MotoDeal. I tested out my friend's Multistrada
the black
V4,
one.
the black one.
Yeah.
And I loved almost everything about it. The one thing that I didn't love about it was the fuel consumption.
Yeah,
So,
yun nga eh.
medyo for an adventure bike,
It's not.
kind of funny. It's kind of laughable, the fuel consumption, which is close to about 15 kilometers per liter.
Oh, siya.
Yeah, it's
Well,
not-
an adventure bike.
It's an adventure bike, 15 kilometers per liter. That one I know is what, mga 20?
20 liters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At 20
kilometers per liter.
Yeah, so which is okay.
efficient
diba?
talaga.
But I'll say this. Most Ducati owners will not care about the fuel
It's just only
consumption.
you.
I'm the only Ducati owner who cares.
The only one who cares about the fuel consumption, guys.
consumption. But let's talk about you and the bike. How tall are you?
I am 5'2".
Oh.
Diba? May pa height reveal na.
Oh,
How
yeah,
about you?
5'2". Okay, so at 5'2" on the BMW GS, what is it like to ride around that bike? Because a lot of people out there that's the number one thing that they're scared about, diba? Parang, kaya ko ba yan? Am I too small? Am I too, like,
Isn't it
is
heavy?
it too heavy? What
Yes.
is it like for you?
For me, it was really comfortable.
Yeah.
Like the most comfortable bike I've ever tried talaga. The secret kasi with my height, like I had this low sus
Yeah.
setting, low suspension, and low seat. So, medyo may daya ng konti.
Yeah.
Pero, nagtitiptoe pa rin talaga ako sa bike. It's still high for me pa rin, for my height. But at first, I was very intimidated by its very huge tank.
Yeah.
Like, I would call it a mini Carabao. Kasi sobrang bulky talaga niya. Like, it would resemble an actual cow. But thanks to the low center of gravity,
Yeah.
the boxer engine, like it makes it so seamless to use.
Yeah.
And it's really comfortable to maneuver. And yeah, I really have fun taking it to long rides.
Yeah.
Super comfortable.
When you it's funny when you say that, because when I tried the GS for the first time ever, I remember I was also with Mark Sung, and I picked up the bike in Green Hills.
Oh yeah.
And then my plan was to just get used to it a little bit, because it was medyo big for me rin eh.
Mm-hmm.
And then we ended up going all the way to Tagaytay. Because after wala pang 5 minutes on the bike, I was like, wait a minute, what was I worried about?
Diba?
It's so easy.
life-changing talaga.
It is so easy to ride.
It is super easy to ride. Like, looks can be deceiving
Yeah.
with the GS, especially now that I have the GSA, the
Yeah.
adventure
Yeah.
version. So it's huge, pero it's very friendly.
Yeah.
It's a very friendly bike. Like, yung mga beginner pa lang. But for me, like, it was easy to adapt to
Yeah.
the bike. Like, it wasn't aggressive.
Yeah.
Wasn't that powerful. But if you need it to be powerful, it gives you that.
Yeah. I remember I picked it up. I was talking to Hill. Hill,
Rest in peace.
yeah. I was telling him how worried I was with the bike. And then fast forward 2 weeks later, I still had the bike with me. He saw me on the road, and he was following me on the road. And then he messaged me when I got home and said, what are you worried about? You're riding it like a scooter. And I told him, I was like, Hill, I had no idea this thing was going to be this easy to ride. And it really blew my mind how friendly it is, how welcoming, how approachable the GS is to ride for many people. And I took it far to La Union. Yeah, I mean, when I talk to you about far, medyo yung La Union.
Medyo pang breakfast ride lang
breakfast
yan.
ride mo lang yun eh.
Balikan.
And when we got there, I went with Silagaki. When we got there, everybody was pagod. I was like, wow, what are you guys tired?
Like, very comfortable
super.
siya. And the ergonomics is comfortable. You're sitting upright and relax lang your arms.
Yeah, feels like
Kaya nga Tito bike siya,
Tito bike.
diba?
Yeah.
Like the end game bike.
Yeah.
Pero yun nga lang, the con of that. Yung, like, one of the problems I have to deal with, it's comfortability. It sometimes gets so boring na.
Oh, I'm so glad you said it. I'm so glad.
I mean, I love my GS.
Yes,
I wouldn't
yes.
trade it for any other adventure bike. But it gets so boring. Like, shucks. I want to find the excitement.
Oh.
So that's when the Ducati V4 comes in.
Okay, you said it. You said it.
I'm brutally honest about it. It gets so boring na talaga. Like, I get so sleepy whenever like I pass through NLEX, SCTEX, and T-Flex. So,
and
sorry.
That is where this comes in.
Yes.
Right? Because this is not boring at all.
Yes.
I mean, don't get me wrong. This is the comfort, diba? Relax,
long rides
chill.
talaga.
Yeah, I don't think anybody can beat this. No, nobody can beat that. But the excitement, the one that's medyo kulang here, ng konti, that's where this has loads of.
Super talaga. I really had fun with that bike before when I tried the V4, the Pikes Peak. Sobra na pala kasi yun. It was dangerously fun.
Yeah. So that's the I guess that's the balance that people are trying to find. No? And that's why the conversation between these two bikes is always
It's intriguing.
It's intriguing.
Yeah.
And there's always pros and cons for both. Like we said, the fuel efficiency of the MTS is awful. It's really the worst, maybe one of the worst adventure bikes when it comes to fuel efficiency. It's just don't even think about it.
We just have to be straight to the point.
Yeah, pero the fun factor is there talaga.
Grabe talaga no, when you twist the throttle, it's so
galit eh.
Galit talaga. Pero you don't have any problems with standstill traffic.
So at slow speeds, this is perfect, right? The torque's everywhere. I mean, it's
like smooth power delivery.
Galing. Ito, slow speeds, not great.
Parang nag-jerk yung
a little bit. Parang it's like,
parang galit siya parang.
Parang it's like, why are we so slow? Why are we going so slow? Parang the bike's telling.
Ikaw nape-pressure.
Oh, they're like, sorry, traffic eh. But that's exactly what it is, right? I mean, it doesn't like going slow. It's okay. The people who take the MTS on trails, they'll need to go slow with it. And it's okay lang. I mean,
It's okay naman.
Not as good as the GS, but once you get on the open road, that's where it's like a Panigale but comfortable.
Yeah, yun nga.
Diba?
Yun lang talaga what's lacking with the GS is that fun factor. If you want a more thrilling, more exciting ride.
I'm so glad you said it. I was
At
about
least balance. I
had
want to be a big fan of BMW, of course. I also have like my personal opinion about the bike. So.
Yeah, because I thought I was like, how am I going to convince her that MTS is more fun? But you know something that I appreciate kasi with the GS, you mentioned it kanina, the low center of gravity. It makes it so easy to maneuver, so easy to balance.
Super.
This one is not so low. It's medyo a little bit on the higher side, the center of gravity. So if you're not so used to it, especially mga off-road, that's why I don't want to take it off-road. Because I'm so scared I'm gonna drop it. Because normal naman yun eh. When you go off-road, you're gonna drop the bike.
Yeah.
You have to expect that you're gonna drop it.
Yes.
And that's why it's so scary for me to take it off-road. Because not that the bike can't handle it, because it can. Because there are people in the world who ride this off-road. But medyo mahal eh.
Medyo mahal na, actually.
Let's go to the cost of ownership.
The cost of ownership.
Yeah. How much is a normal PMS for the GS?
My dad told me a while ago that it was 12,000.
Okay, that's the beauty of having a dad who's so into motorcycles, diba? That he can do.
He is my may mechanic, personal mechanic na rin. He does the change oil At home, ha?
Yeah?
Yeah, like he just watches videos from YouTube Academy.
I mean, look at his bike, the bike that he brought up here, the classic GS. That's pretty cool.
Yes, the Lolo GS.
The Lolo.
The Lolo of the Lolo.
Because so it's more or less the same then. So that's 12,000. This is cost me around 11,000, 10,000, 11,000. So it's more or less the
More
same.
or less the same.
Right? So more or less you're looking around 12,000 for a normal PMS with the Ducati.
Oh, it's the same lang pala with the GS.
Yeah. So it's more or less BMW, the service of BMW and Ducati, probably close. How about the parts? The parts probably expensive, no, for both.
Yeah. Premium bikes.
Premium bikes. Just to give you an example, the PMS for my Yamaha is 4,000 pesos. So imagine that's almost a third of the price of the BMW and the MTS.
They said nga, if you get a motorcycle, he would save more money. But it's not true, guys. It's super budol.
So the gear, okay. I know you don't really need to wear full
Like full on touring?
full touring all the time.
Oh my gosh, that's so init.
But when you ride far, do you wear full touring BMW
Yes, when
gear?
I ride far naman
Yeah.
talaga. But whenever like I just ride here in the city, in Metro Manila, I just use my speedy jacket
Yeah.
from Red Manila and then some cargo pants with the pads.
Yeah.
At least I still have the complete pads on
Yeah.
for my safety pa rin. Pero pag touring talaga na whole suit
Yeah.
here in Metro Manila with this kind of traffic, parang I cannot.
Yeah. Pero pa exage.
Super init.
Exage,
super,
diba?
Super exage.
Kasi in Ducati, we kind of, not naman we're told to, but we're encouraged to wear Ducati jacket,
Yeah,
Ducati
grabe yung
helmet,
branding ng
like
Ducati,
grabe
no?
yung branding ng Ducati. Like
Actually.
they kind of want everything Ducati everywhere.
And it's expensive.
Yeah. I mean, the gear is not cheap for actually for both na rin. The gear is
Yeah,
the gear is not
actually.
cheap for BMW and
Yeah.
Ducati. How about off-road? Have you taken this off-road at least a little bit?
At least once. Once lang. Pero I don't want to try it again.
Why? What was the story?
Well, we went to Batangas ata pa, tama, for the outreach. And then there was a mini budol off-road. But it was comfortable pa rin naman talaga.
Yeah.
Naka-enduro mode ako niyan.
Yeah.
It's not that I want to try it again. I mean, it's not that I had a hard time talaga. Parang I just don't want to drop the bike. That's it. Kasi it's so heavy. Like, it's really hard to recover the bike.
Yeah.
I mean, even though my dad is there.
But even with the boxer, because with the boxer engine, you have enough leverage to pull it up.
Yeah.
So you've never tried to lift up the bike.
No, never. I tried lang siguro to help. But on my own, I haven't tried that yet.
So let's talk about the pricing of these bikes. So the pricing of the BMW GS starts at 1.5 plus Philippine pesos. The start of the MTS V4 is at around 1.6 plus. And then the GSA, the top of the line GS, 1.7
7 plus.
The
Yeah.
Pikes Peak, the top of the line Multistrada, over 2
2
million.
million plus.
So I mean, it's a little bit on the steep side. Those are the things that I guess the viewers who are prospective buyers of these bikes have to think about. Na parang if you end up spending that much money, there's a lot of things to consider. We were talking about the cost of ownership in the PMS, even the gear, the riding
the gear.
right? I mean, those are stuff that you need. All right, so. Where's the farthest place that you've taken this GS on?
Well, I brought that to Tuguegarao already. And then we did the Mindoro Loop to Bacolod also.
This is for Mascara.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the Unity ride.
Yeah.
I just got this late this year.
Yeah.
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 Pero I don't use it for like daily commute.
Yeah.
No.
So long rides, we know these two are great.
Yes.
Right? Comfortable, fun. Those are the difference between the two. And city rides, how difficult is it for somebody 5'2" in city with the traffic trying to filter ng konti? Like what's it like?
It's kind of heavy.
Yeah.
Since the tank is intimidating and then the boxer engine, it's like sticking out.
Yeah.
Parang medyo awkward siya to make seeing it sometimes.
Yeah.
And when at low speed, you can feel the weight of the bike. Kailangan lang rin ng
You have to-
momentum.
you have to
Continuous
be-
momentum lang talaga siya. But kaya naman since the
Yeah.
the low center of gravity.
Yeah.
But
Makes it a little bit easier.
yeah.
Because this one in traffic, it's not great. Let's be honest. It's a little bit big because it's harder for me to keep up with the smaller bikes.
Yeah.
But I thought it was gonna get really hot and just be super uncomfortable. But for some reason, the MTS is not as hot as the Monster. it's not as hot as the Street Fighter.
Really?
Yeah, it doesn't get as hot for me. Maybe because of where I'm seated on the bike as compared to the Monster and the Street Fighter, because those two get really hot.
Yeah.
For me in city traffic. This one is
Tolerable. pa naman.
tolerable.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm so happy with this bike. It's just something I was like, first of all, I can't believe I actually own a Ducati. And now that I own one, it's like it's actually a lot more friendly than I thought it
Than
would
you
be.
thought.
But when I want it to be bad, it can be bad.
Yeah,
right?
very
it's
aggressive,
like,
no?
Yeah, you can definitely push this
Really
bike.
looking for that in the GS.
It really surprised me that with this on the bike. This one, because I expected it to be good already in the track. But this one, I was like, wow, this is actually a lot better than I thought it would be.
Like the smooth power
Yeah.
delivery.
And it's that smooth power deliveries. It's great, but sometimes it's too great.
Yeah.
Right? So parang like you said kanina, it's so comfortable, sometimes it's too comfortable.
Yeah. And with all the technology, it's like babying you already, like spoon feeding you already.
It is. It's so smart, it's so advanced, and your other bike is a Harley that you use with
Yeah.
nothing.
With nothing. But it has ABS naman.
Okay, it has
May
ABS.
ABS naman. Pero grabe the difference.
Yeah, so look, talk about that. So you're coming from a bike that's so technologically advanced, has all the riding aids in the world,
Yeah.
all the comfort in the world, and then you go back to the Harley. So what's the transition like?
It was hard. Like, I'm used to the comfortability of the GS already. And then with my Harley, the Sportster 48, super tagtag. The suspension is really stiff. And
May suspension ba yun? Parang wala.
yeah, good point. But yun nga, parang ever since I was a child, I was exposed to the Harley brand already.
Yeah.
So it has a special place in my heart. That's the story behind that. So ever since, ayun na talaga yung gusto ko.
I know it's funny, and I laugh because it's funny because sometimes when you're riding a motorcycle, you're kind of looking for that, right? You're kind of looking to
Yes.
feel
Something at least.
the road.
Yeah, that's why I transitioned to Harley muna.
Yeah.
But then yun naman, parang I want to talk about its tank capacity since I love long rides.
Yeah.
Parang the Harley is just 7 liters lang of tank capacity, imagine.
Pang Starbucks lang talaga.
Pang coffee ride talaga siya. So that's the downside of owning the Sportster 48, that particular model.
People consider this the end game bike. Like this is the
Yeah.
only bike you need.
The Holy Grail.
The Holy Grail. Is it? Is
Yes, it is.
It is.
Wala na eh. Nothing can ever beat it. Like the comfort of the GS,
Yeah.
especially for long rides.
So even if sometimes you get bored because it's so advanced.
yeah.
Okay lang.
Yeah. Pero yun nga, I can transition to my Harley. May
So
other
you
option.
can't just have one. You can't just have one bike. I would say that the MTS is the closest one for me that kind of ticks all of the boxes. Except for the fuel.
I'm
except,
sold.
except for the fuel efficiency. Yun lang talaga.
Yun lang talaga.
The fuel efficiency for me is like, what a joke. What a joke, this fuel. It's not. Parang siyang almost sport bike fuel efficient. But which is
Parang sport bike DNA na rin kasi
it
siya
is a
eh.
sport bike DNA. It's just made to be comfortable. Because it has the Panigale same engine.
Same
right?
engine. Yeah.
So it's a gas guzzler, but it's a fun gas guzzler. It's something that I absolutely enjoy. You know, Kat, you keep on talking about Ducati. I want to talk about something with the reputation of BMW GS naman. Because there's a lot of people out there, not all, but there's a lot of people out there who get a GS, put all sorts of different lights on there, parang Christmas tree na ewan. And then, may mga wangwang pa, but hindi naman sila HPG.
Hindi naman HPG.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they're on the road, you know, they see me rolling, they hate it.
That's like one bad reputation
Yeah.
of some
Yeah.
GS owners.
Not naman all, but
Not naman
there are people na ganyan. You don't really see that with the Multistrada owners. Wala naman.
Wala naman ganyan.
Wala naman sila.
Talaga ba? I'll
Wala.
search it up online.
But I'll say this, yung Multistrada owners, medyo, some of them, medyo, feeling mo naka-sport bike talaga sa twisties eh. Parang,
Grabe,
Yeah.
no? Tapos magdinidrag ko yung iba dyan.
pag naka-full,
Full leather
pag naka-full
suit pa,
leather
no?
suit with a
Would you
MTS.
wear a full leather suit here?
With an MTS?
Yeah.
No.
No.
On the track, maybe if I take it on the track, I'll probably put my full
Yeah.
leathers on just because it's safer. Before we talk about your page, let's talk about the pros and cons of the bikes. What's your favorite thing about the GS?
I'll say it over and over again. It's the comfort
Yeah.
for me. 11 out of 10. I swear, it's the most comfortable bike I've ever tried. Especially like I'm really into long rides. Like I couldn't feel like my muscles are hurting na or aching na. And yun nga, the ergonomics is perfect for long rides. And I think the suspension also. I mean the telelever.
Yeah, but it's all inclusive in the comfort.
Yes.
Right, that's all what
Parang
makes
it won't let you dive
Yeah.
pa talaga.
Just easy bike to ride.
Yes, super friendly bike talaga. And I love that it has modes also.
Yeah.
Na may rain mode.
I asked for one, dami na sinasabi.
Ay, ganyan ba? Para makabawi din sa boring part.
So is the boring part the worst part about the bike?
Yeah, that's just about it.
Yeah.
And sometimes siguro the weight, sometimes it still gets me. It's a 30 tank capacity, so yung wet weight niya, super bigat
Yeah,
talaga.
bigat talaga.
When I'm like using it in slow maneuvering,
Okay.
medyo top heavy ng konti because of the gas. That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
This one, my favorite thing about the MTS, it's fun. Absolute fun.
Yeah.
Like
the
it's
opposite.
Like it's just pegs you to just come on, let's have some fun today.
Yeah, nainggit naman ako bigla.
Oh, ayun. Dad. And then the worst part about it for me is just seriously the cost of how much if something happens to the bike, it's gonna hurt the pockets.
It's gonna hurt the pockets.
I have to be ready for it.
But at least you're still having fun with your bike.
As before I get there, I'm gonna have as much fun with it as possible.
Yes.
So
That's what matters most.
that is what matters most. And Kat, you have had your YouTube page, your Facebook page for several. How long have you had it already? Several months.
I just started this year, actually,
Yeah.
last January.
Yeah.
I launched it because we went to Mindoro and then I started vlogging there. And then the page grew already. People enjoy my cat ventures, energy. So I just share my adventures there. I love going on spontaneous trips. Yun, biglang nawawala na pala tayo. That's
Yeah.
what fuels me. So guys, check it out. It's Cat Ventures.
So YouTube, Facebook.
Yes. Facebook is Katrice Kierrulf,
Yeah.
my name. But YouTube, it's Cat Ventures.
But Kat, thank you very much. It's been an honor having you on MotoDeal. Nice to feature the bike as well and talk about what it's like to own these two bikes. And I hope the viewers out there who are thinking about either an MTS or a BMW GS, the true answer is get both.
Get both.
One each. But if you have to choose one, you choose the MTS.
Yes.
Thanks, Kat.
Thank you, Jinno.
For more information and updates on the bikes and everything about the world of motorcycles, you can log on to www.motodeal.com.ph. Till next time, peace.
Woo!
By the way, we also want to say thank you to Mark Sung for inviting us the cabin up here in Tanay.
The best cameraman on a GS.
Who's also our cameraman. And the cabin by Campwell, you can check them out on Instagram and you can actually book it Airbnb. And you can house how many people here? 12? 12 people. 12 people comfortably. It's quite beautiful.